This is an emergency transmission. Citizens of the world, please, make no mistake. The zombie apocalypse is near. Will you cower and hide, or join us and fight? We are Dezombified. So stay on point and watch your six.
Now we're gonna bring.
Oh, and then if for any reason, because if we go a little over, I can go until 7, because I know initially this is going to be.
Okay, that's fine. Hey everybody, welcome. Thank you for being here tonight with myself and Miss Stereo. This is Stereo Dread. How you doing, hon?
Hey, yes, Miss Stereo over here. I'm so happy to be with you, honey. How have you been? How did you enjoy your day, sweetie?
It was busy. Went by like a blur. Very dizzying pace, but you know what? At the end of the day, I'm still feeling good, and I'm ready for another wonderful episode. And looking forward to, talking with our guest shortly. So I'm stoked for that.
Me too. I think she's super, super cool. So guys, hey, if you are out there and you are watching this in the interwebs of things or on the YouTubes, just say hi in the chat, I see that we have some friends joining us, but I don't know who they are yet because they haven't interacted in the chat, but But
nonetheless, we're happy you're here.
Yes, that is true. I like it. I like that we know that we have friends here watching, and whether they're at work or, maybe washing some dishes or something, because I like to listen to podcasts while I'm doing dishes.
That's true.
It
makes the time fly.
It really does.
Or while you're cooking.
Yes, it really does.
It's cool.
It is lots of fun.
Yeah, it
but
is.
You know what?
Yeah.
Let's, this is what I was thinking. That we should get into a news story really quick.
Sure, let's do that.
Before we bring in our guests and everything, let's just loosen stuff up and wait to see if other people are gonna show up, and then let's see what happens, right? Okay, so let me open up this internet window so that our friends can see. I hope they can see. Here we go. Yes, there is a rocket that is wildly careening towards Earth this weekend. Let's see what the story says, what the official story is. All right, look what the subtitle says. There's a non-zero chance the debris will land somewhere in the U.S. So this story comes to us from Popular Mechanics, and the author is Kyle Mizukami. You read it, honey.
So in other words, there isn't a chance it can land. Okay, so the U.S. Space Command is monitoring debris from a Chinese rocket that's on a rapid collision course with Earth and projected to crash down sometime this weekend. The debris left over from the recent launch of a Chinese space station module could possibly land somewhere in the U.S., including cities like Los Angeles or New York City. Yikes. Oh my. While the event shouldn't be hazardous, the military is still keeping an eye on the space junk, quote unquote, just in case. We have the capability to do a lot of things, but we don't have a plan to shoot it down as we speak, which honestly I think should be what they should be doing. But that's just my 2 cents. U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd told reporters on Thursday. Now, we're hopeful that it will land in a place where it won't harm anyone. Hopefully in the ocean or someplace like that. Well, the Earth is mostly water, 70% I believe. So there's a big chance that it will land in some sort of aquatic area. Hopefully there's no one in the boat though, or surfing when it comes down, because that would suck, right?
That really would. Deep
Why don't
sea
you take
diving
over, honey?
or something. Yeah, sure. Let me see. The junk is actually core launch stage from a Chinese CZ-5B Long March rocket. Dang.
Said
Okay.
rocket, which launched on April 29th, boosted to the heavens, all right, into orbit. At least 2 other science modules are also floating up there. The names are the Meng Tian and Huangtian, I guess.
Okay,
That's
we
I hope I didn't butcher
sorry.
that. I hope I didn't butcher
We
those.
probably did.
But listen, the point is, folks, you know, there's some debris falling, and I think that everybody should just be vigilant, you know, because you never know where it's gonna land. We're gonna put this link in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
If tell me what are your snap. Sorry guys.
Yep.
Sorry about that.
Well, just copy it. Let me just copy
Yeah,
it
you
myself.
take care of
and,
that. I know it's pretty like a freaky thing, you know, because like you could be sleeping, you know, God, you know, forbid, and it could just come crashing down into your lawn or something. It's like,
oh my God.
there's some pieces of
A
spacecraft
rocket ship.
outside. Are you gonna deal with that? No, I'll deal with it in the morning. Damn
God.
kids with their space rockets.
I could see the shiny probe peering in at us through the window.
Oh my.
Did somebody
Imagine.
call Alien Kayla?
I hope she's doing fine. She's awesome. I'd like to
Yes.
say hello to we got somebody new in the chat.
Yes, we do.
got Realities in Perspective. Thank you for being here. You are awesome. Hey. And we also have with us David Stewart. David Stewart, welcome. Thank you for coming to the show.
Hello.
We appreciate you. Hope you're having a great night.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, you know, I think I would freak out if I saw something like just land on our lawn or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, with me, I always have a shiny hat on. For me, everything's a conspiracy, so therefore I will, you know, freak out.
Mm-hmm.
Probably go and wrap the whole roll of aluminum foil over my body.
Right.
Make an outfit out of it.
That would be so couture.
Yes.
High fashion.
Yes. Alien invasion couture.
Work it.
Working.
Yes, queen.
I would definitely.
Bring it to the runway. Bring it to the runway.
I would definitely bring it to the one way.
Do it.
With some conspiracy aluminum foil. Oh, yep. But let us know what you think that this is. And hey, don't forget, you know, we are all over social media, including some alternative platforms such as Telegram. You can find us there. I mean, it's a baby channel, but we are starting new from scratch. Give us a break.
Give us a break. For
No,
sure.
but seriously, I think that we should go really quickly into a commercial break now
Okay.
and bring in our guest because I'm like so excited to talk to her again.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
agree. Let's do it.
Awesome. Guys, check this out and we will be right back with Jennifer Vasquez.
Got a selection of good things on sale.
Our prices, I hope, aren't too low.
Quality and freshness is what makes Dezombified Farms special. And our Kenny Salty Nuts sacks the competition. Protein packed and fortified with vitamins and minerals, these hearty nuts make sweet love to your taste buds, providing orgasmic flavors. You'll truly savor every bite. So, if you need that extra little pack some of these motherfucking nuts in your mouth today.
Kenny's Salty Nuts from the brand you trust, the Zombified Farms, available at all Brenda's Basement Bodegas and Whole Foods.
Allergic to nuts? Ambush, how sad. Yay, more for me. Buy a mug or hoodie at our Teespring store then. Will you go there? Scan the code, please? Thank you!
Hey everybody, thank you for hanging in there. We're back from commercial break. As we said, tonight we're going to be having a discussion about the occult and also vampirism as well. So I know it's going to be a good show. So without further ado, I want to introduce to you the one and only Jennifer Vasquez.
Hello, everyone. Hi.
Welcome. So good to
Thank
have
you.
you back, Jennifer.
Oh, thank you. It's good to be back. It's been a while.
Yes, it has been quite some time. Oh, the year, I think in maybe a year or more.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. I was on a probably year and a half ago.
Yeah, about a year and a half. That's right. So tell me, what have you been up to? Why don't you catch us up on everything?
Wow. Well, so with the past year, with not too many events going on, I've been busy getting creative with just making more content on my blog site. So I was like really trying to get creative with ideas of, what can I cover that is still macabre, that still deals with the bizarre, which is what, I love to delve into. But without, I wasn't going anywhere. So I just was writing just all of these different blogs, which one of the ones I ended up writing because I have this interest in the occult. One of the features that came out of this past year was a blog post I wrote about occult figures. And I was like, well, I'm interested in this, so let me, write up a list of some prominent figures that were involved in the occult. And let's see what comes out of it. But really just doing things like that, just getting creative with what I could create for my site that would still keep people's interests, even though I wasn't covering, these outside events. But yeah, just a lot of of that, which I know today we're going to talk about the occult. But yeah, I don't know. Did you guys have a chance? I don't know if you guys had taken a look at that feature. But in it, I kind of basically just to kind of delve into some of the major occult figures. But I guess kind of going back to how I got into all of that in the first place when I was a teen, because a little bit about me, I grew up in a traditional Catholic household. Oh, really? So yeah, so it was very very traditional, and then I'm Mexican, and so I think so I think being in that Latino culture and then growing up Catholic, it was very just traditional, strict religious beliefs. So at a very early age, I kind of started questioning the things I was being taught, questioning the beliefs I was being brought up with, and I think it was as a teen. I don't even remember exactly how I came across it, but I had learned about Anton LaVey and the Church of Satan. And what I've noticed, and I can't speak for all people who, kind of get interested into occult and esotericism, but I find that a few people, their kind of gateway is Anton Xander LaVey and the Church of Satan. Right, I think because it's have you guys heard, because even if you're not really familiar with Satanism, I feel like a lot of people have heard his name. Definitely. Or have heard of that church. So it's one of the more popular kind of left-hand path religious organizations. I think Marilyn Manson really popularized it too. He is a member. I don't know if he still is, but he was a member, and I think back in the 90s there were photos with him at the Church of Satan, and so I know he really popularized it. Because he's kind of a mainstream musician, and I was, as a teen, I was into, Marilyn Manson, and so I just was in awe of oh my God, this church that worships this figure that is the complete opposite of what I grew up, being told to believe. So at the time, me being a teen, it just completely just kind of drew me in.
It just made sense to you.
Yeah, I mean, it was, and being at that age too, and wanting to rebel against, the
machine,
religious
right.
belief. Yeah, that were being instilled in me. I just was like, well, you can't get any more opposite than, something that is satanic. So at the time, that's kind of how my whole draw into the occult world started. And then and it was in college. Because I really couldn't do too much kind of like reading about it or, poking around because of my parents. So it was when I went off to college that I got my hands on the Satanic Bible. And I read that. I also, because as you guys know, I love vampires. And so I don't know if you guys have heard of a organization called Temple of the Vampire. I don't know if that sounds familiar.
A little bit.
It does to me.
It does ring a bell.
I heard. Isn't that something? Didn't we see a documentary that briefly touched on it?
I think we did.
I think it was like about 4 or 5 years ago. The phrase just sounds familiar. The vampire.
Yeah, I know there are there are a few vampire documentaries out there. I don't know if there's one on this organization, because if you look it up, I don't know if their website is still up, because this was a long time ago too that I came across it. But it kind of like a lot of the way they were structured parallels the whole like setup of Church of Satan, kind of like a lot of like their core beliefs and kind of like seeing yourself as your own God, like you are. You are in charge of manifesting your destiny, not there's not this like higher God that you have to pray to. So, and a lot of that is central in Satanism. It's about, I don't know if worshiping yourself is the correct phrase, but it's kind of like focusing on, exactly. Like rebelling against as if there's norms. These, higher, right. But I came across during all this time, I'm learning about the Church of Satan, then I come across this temple of the Temple of the Vampire, I think it's called, and that's really how I started just learning more about mysticism and getting into esotericism and reading up more on like the left-hand path, and. I'm not like an expert. I don't like claim to hold this like PhD in the occult. Like I feel like I'm very much.
So in other words, you're not a high priestess or nothing like that.
Yeah. No, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not a high priestess or anything like that. I'm still very much a student and learning. But but I mean, I take my reading of the topic and the research I do about it seriously, because I'm a very spiritual person, and I don't really I don't ascribe to any particular religion. Like I don't, call myself, a Satanist or, any other. I just, I'm just very spiritual and open-minded to a lot of different spiritual paths. And and the left-hand path just happens to kind of be one that I find myself connecting a lot to. So, I do a lot of, kind of like reading and practicing with that. Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely understand that there's an allure, right, to rebelling against the machine, quote unquote, or the norms of society and things like that. There's an allure to that.
Of course. I think we've all done that.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. I was raised Pentecostal, Christian Pentecostal. Yeah, so you know how that goes. And then also, actually, my parents are pastors. So I am a pastor's kid. Yeah. Yes, I do identify as a Christian, but that's for lack of a better term. But for me, it's more about, how do I say? I'm more like what I would like to call myself, more like an open-minded believer. Sorry, not believer. I'm not a Bieber fan. I can't stand the entirety of the entertainment system. Trust me. Just don't like them. But anyway, I am a believer. I still have a lot of the core Christian values and beliefs. The only thing is that I don't believe in organized religion of any sort, period. And I do find that, of course, like I was speaking before about the allure of the whole thing, but there's also a dark side to that, what is the scariest thing that you think, or the creepiest thing that you think you might have found or come across during your research? If there is.
Oh my God, I mean, there's definitely a lot of just very, a lot of bizarre stories that come with doing, when you like start really digging in. And the one thing too, like I have to say, and that's something that when I was doing research, when I decided to kind of write about these major occult figures that have kind of shaped it throughout the centuries, is that there is a lot of, it tends to get really tied up with the fantastical because, I think the way it's commonly perceived, especially if you haven't done, reading into it, is that you think of the black magicians and conjuring up these evil forces, and so I think people, a lot of people who aren't too familiar have these kind of very fantasy-like notions of what people who study the occult, of what it is, and it's interesting how it's really tied in though with these historical figures too that I was reading about, because one, there's I don't know if you guys are familiar with Eliphas Levi. His last name is like pronounced, people pronounce his last name in different ways. Like some say Levi, Levy, Levy. Yeah, but I pronounce it Eliphas Levi. So I'm sorry to anyone if there's another way to pronounce it and I'm wrong. I apologize. But he is the individual that popularized and created the image of Baphomet, if you're familiar with that. The inverted pentagram. And I feel like Baphomet and the inverted pentagram are like the two most commonly associated symbols with when people think of like occultism, they think of like those two things. So he's the person that he's the person that kind of like first kind of created those, and now they're associated with esotericism.
He's a trendsetter.
But like he was a very early trendsetter. But like with him, there's these there's the story that he didn't do much practicing when it came to his occult studies. So he wasn't constantly doing like rituals or things like that. He more or less he theorized about it a lot and kind of did a lot of research, similar to kind of my approach to it. I do a little bit of practicing, but right now I do more reading up on it and researching more than anything. But there's a story that I came across that he performed a ritual alone. So, and the thing is, he performed the ritual alone. So there's no one in the past that could have verified that, I was there, this is true, but that he performed this ritual by himself that involved necromancy. And necromancy, if you're not familiar, it involves kind of like making contact with the dead. So he tried to evoke a philosopher and a magician, and that there was an apparition that came up out of this ritual, and he wasn't certain if it was the philosopher that he was trying to conjure, but that he reported that something did come through, some sort of spirit or entity, and touched him. Like the story goes that he physically felt something touch him, and that he was completely like just freaked out, terrified. And I mean, it's funny because
release some bodily fluids, actually. Come on.
Well, and who knows? He might have left that out of his retelling of the story. But you think about if he wasn't someone who really commonly practiced rituals, but and he read about it, but then the one of the rare times that he decides to, and the necromancy of all things is not something that you just kind of like, I'm you just dabble with. And for that to happen, he was like completely terrified, and he kind of told people and just kind of forewarned, like, this is very serious. These aren't things to be taken lightly. This isn't a practice to be taken lightly. If you're going to, depending on how deep you want to go in, into your esoteric, rituals, that you have to be careful with what you're messing with, basically.
Yeah, because you never know what you're conjuring, correct?
Well, Yeah, and you have to be careful. And I think that some people think that, well, they don't believe that spirits or things like that actually come through, that's just it's all a figment of your imagination, or well, if you're prone to believing, then your mind's going to play tricks on you and you're going to think you saw something. But I think that there's definitely, when you direct your energy into something like that, I think that it's definitely possible for you're going to make contact with something, because I really believe that the energy we put out, it affects our environment. And I think with him, when I read that, it was just, it's a really interesting story, and there's really no way to know if it's true or not. And that's the thing, there's a lot of crazy stories, if anyone has read up on these like popular occult figures, but like there's a lot of very like just outrageous stories that surround them, that even like theologians or people that like study the occult and esotericism, they even say like there's really no way of knowing if there's any truth to these, but these are stories that have been passed down associated with figures like Levi. And it's that was, when I read that, I thought that was really interesting. And then like I don't know if you're familiar with Aleister Crowley. He's kind of another popular one.
Wasn't he?
The
wickedest man on earth.
The evilest man?
Yeah.
The wickedest? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he has a couple of nicknames, and like the Great Beast 666, and
yes.
he's like really popular with like definitely very popular with like rockers and metal musicians. Like they really took, you'll see his symbolism and things like that kind of used by these like metal and rock bands. I think it might have been like in the 60s or 70s. And I'm trying to remember, my mind is drawing a blank about the band that referred directly to Aleister Crowley. But I mean, he's another one where there's just like these like crazy stories that that are related to him, and he was kind of like a very erratic person though too. So he was. I mean,
his wife wasn't a walk in the park either. She was a weirdo too.
That's right.
I mean, everyone that he kind of surrounded himself with, and I mean, the sense that I got was that they kind of were all drawn to his enigmatic energy, and that was very just what attracted them to him. And so, the people that he kind of drew to him, they, the things that he, would talk about, and
he was
what he believed in.
He was very radical, to the point where, I mean, I heard, eating feces, and he saw a man of a spirit cooking. I heard he saw some sort of manifestation of a being.
But there's like even darker, more nefarious things, which I will not mention here.
No, definitely not.
Because I don't feel like I want to get deplatformed. Right. But there was some very disturbing things that he had said concerning small children, and I'm gonna leave it there.
Of course.
I'm gonna leave it there.
Yes. We all know this. But let's see. Let's see if maybe Jennifer knows even more obscure things about him than we know.
Yeah, I mean, it's like essentially just he there was a book that I read on him by an author named Gary Lackman, and I recommend if anyone wants to like kind of read up more on Crowley's history, there's a book by a man named Gary Lackman called Aleister Crowley, Magic, Rock and Roll, and the Wickedest Man in the World. And it goes into just I mean, he was very debaucherous. He definitely enjoyed a good orgy. He lived a very free life, I guess, for lack of a better term. But I mean, he was kind of a precursor to, I think, the beliefs that Anton Xander LaVey would kind of lay out when he went out to establish the Church of Satan. And I think it's the whole like do without wilt, and that, you know, you are your own lawmaker, you're your own God, like worship yourself and, you know, do what you want to do. I mean, where the line is drawn is where like the Church of Satan kind of made a very clear distinction, like as long as you don't harm others. And in my research of Aleister Crowley, I never came across that he kind of made that clear, you know, like do it that will, but don't harm other people, because he definitely, yeah. And with him, like he definitely, you know, did things that were not in other people's best interests. And I think with him too, Crowley is a interesting man, to say the least, when it comes to the occult. But I know for me, and, you know, kind of doing that research, it kind of put a little bad taste in my mouth though about him, because there are definitely things that he did that I kind of feel make things that are related to the occult. They associate it with things that aren't very positive. And I think that, you know, even though I think he was a devout practitioner of his beliefs, I think that there are actions that have kind of still stories that are still passed on and told about him today that get mixed in with his occult practices. And I think that's why you have such a this very kind of split view of what people think of the occult, because you just think like, oh, you know, if you believe in that, or, you know, you call yourself an occultist, or you're into mysticism, that, you know, oh, you must be into just all of this negative, you know, very heinous acts and things like that, when that's not it at all. But that's, you know, how, you know, he chose to kind of, you know, mix the two, I think, for his own benefits, because he was also, you know, a drug user too, and, you know, things like that. But
well, think about it like this, at least this is how I would explain it, right? Christians are very devout, right? They will do whatever they want to please their God. Well, in turn, someone like Crowley would do the same thing, because he was actually a believer. You know, I mean, I know that this is the part where I would call myself, that's why I call myself an open-minded Christian, right? Because I know that there are people in every faction, in every religion, in every walk of life that are good, and I also know some that are bad. I would say he was one of the bad ones. I know that there are people who are into what the religion, so to speak, that he espoused, who will have nothing to do with him if he were alive today, because they would consider him evil. You see? Now, it's like you said before, certain factions have come out and spoken against the negative stuff and against, you know, all the other bizarre and more evil and nefarious dark side of this, right? But then there's some who actually believe that it's all about nature and the forces within our energy here on nature, and that is in fact is what they are worshiping. You know what I mean? So it's like so many different ones. Anyway, you know, because you've done the research, there's so many different factions that you can't possibly lump everybody in together. I don't like being lumped in with other Christians. I really don't. You know?
And it's all like it's on like an individual basis. And then I mean too, that's not like, you know, I'm not trying to like with Crowley, he you know, even though he has like his you know his things that he did and parts of his behavior that are definitely like under question, but I mean we also like still, it can't be denied that the impression that he left on the occult, it was definitely significant, because I mean he was responsible. He was responsible for establishing. He established the what is called the Hermetic Order. The Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. And from what I understand, there are still like factions established. I know there's one in Pasadena, I believe, because I'm in California, and a tarot card reader that I used to go to, who he was a Satanist, but I think he lived in Pasadena, and he told me that there was an Order of the Golden Dawn establishment somewhere in Pasadena, if I remember that correctly. But I mean, that could be wrong. Don't quote me on that.
Right.
But yes, I mean, there are people that, you know, that do follow like his philosophy, and but obviously, I don't think his more questionable acts were not part of the philosophy that he was trying to put forward. But I think that's with, even when you think about just modern day pop culture, what are people going to remember? It's going to be the most like outrageous, heinous stories about an individual, and not
always like that.
and not the other, right, and not the other, you know, positive ways that they contributed. And so, and I think that's why that book I read on him by Gary Lackman, which that author, he was a former member of the band Blondie, and he actually now, since the 90s, he dedicates his time, he writes books on mysticism and the occult. So he's kind of become like a expert on it, and I want to read more of his books because he's covered like a lot of other like important people that have to do with occultism, but just funny. His
sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but it's funny that you mentioned Blondie because I heard around the grapevine. Now this is around the grapevine because, you know, I'm a type of person that I get into everything. Okay, so I like I said, I consider myself a person of faith, but I don't really hang out with many people of faith. I don't really hang out with many people, period, you know, so let me just be fair. But it's the truth. I'm very antisocial. I didn't used to be that way.
I understand that. I'm a huge introvert, so I'm not a very social person. There's very few people I'm comfortable with.
Yeah, I know, right? And then but I do hear things, and I do come up with discussions with certain people in the interwebs of things, in certain alternative technical platforms, you know, and browsers and things of that nature. And I have heard that Blondie herself is very high ranking in
a priestess?
A high priestess in the occult.
Yes, I've heard that as well.
Oh, really?
I've heard about that. Yes, I've heard that. Oh. And there have been pictures. And that's all I'm going to say.
Oh, I did not. Yeah, I haven't heard
as far as I go.
Or come across stories. Oh, that's interesting. Well, because I know I know Lackman, he's, you know, has said that he had a big interest in the occult from a young age, and that's why he now, after he like stopped like being involved in music, that's why he, you know, decided to write about esoteric topics. But I mean, it's not something that I wouldn't believe though either, because I think, you know, the occult is something that is very popular with, you know, it's known, it's popular in rock, you know, rock music. You know, bands, you know, like to use they like to use the symbolism because of the mystery and the darkness that it kind of evokes. So I mean, I hadn't heard that, but I mean, that's totally a possibility. But I think too, like with all these people that you hear like associated with the Church of Satan, like supposedly there's stories of like that Marilyn Monroe was a member of like the church, and actress. I don't know if you're familiar with the actress Jane Mansfield.
Yes, yes, I've heard about her. Didn't she get murdered?
She was. She died in a horrible car accident. She was.
Wait.
The story goes.
That's the official story. Yes.
Yeah, it was it was a really bad
I told you
accident.
everything's a conspiracy to me.
but see, and then there's a weird conspiracy story surrounding the way she died, because it was so bloody that it had to do with her involvement with Anton Vander Levay and the Church of Satan. But I mean, that's never been confirmed that she had those connections. It's just, you know, kind of just a story that's been passed down.
I don't want you to think I was kissing you. I'm sorry. I was kissing my baby. She came to tell me goodnight.
Aww.
She's so cute. Oh man.
But yeah, it's interesting the kind of the stories, the made up stories. It's hard to kind of distinguish fact from fancy when it comes to the occult sometimes, because you know, you'll hear just very weird stories.
That's where discernment comes in. I know you mentioned earlier that you just, you have a vibe about you when it comes to, you have to feel comfortable with certain people, right? Otherwise you're not really gonna hang out with them. Well, that's discernment. That's spiritual discernment, honestly. Because you have to be picky. We have, for animals it's called instinct, right? And we do have some instincts, but also as humans we were all divinely gifted with a level of discernment. I mean, it's up to us, of course, to nurture it and make it grow. I'm a huge fan of free will, because to me, I don't care what religion a person says they are. To me, I know that everywhere there is at least a diamond in the rough, and that is the one that's most valuable. Like, imagine you're like mining, let's say, allegorically, for the purposes of this conversation, right? Mining for a diamond, and all you keep bumping into is coal for years, right? And then one day you find this huge, big, brilliant diamond in the darkest and dingiest of places, and you know that is going to be your answer to poverty, or you might gain wealth from this one brilliant piece. Well, you're going to completely forget all about all the other dingy, fake, fool's gold, fake, phony baloney diamonds that you found, and you're going to only care about that one. Doesn't matter how dirty you are from the dig. It doesn't matter how much disappointment you've had. That one thing made it all worth it, because your life has changed forever. You know what I mean? And that's why we are so open when it comes to people. It's not that we're changing our faith or what we believe. It's not that. We still believe the core values of Christians, but we also understand that there are those diamonds in the rough, and if we are to truly follow our faith, that's what it's all about. Because our Messiah, our Savior, didn't come to save saved people. It came to save those that were lost, and all that other beautiful stuff.
Yeah, exactly. No, exactly. It's interesting what you said about just discernment, because it reminded me of something that the same tarot card reader that I mentioned earlier, that he had told me when I had first had a reading with him. And I kind of always felt like I had like a strong intuitive ability, and I've noticed like throughout my life that I've I really rely on my intuition, and
Woman's
instead of, as opposed to, I'm
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not a very I'm not a very analytical, logical type of person, and so I go more off of intuition, what I feel. And he had told me, he's like I can tell, he's like, you're very clairvoyant. And it was interesting that he had told me that, because a few months earlier, that same year, I had went to I think it was a seance, and the man leading it, who was a tarot card reader, had asked me, he's like, what have you been doing? And he had said that, my basically that my pathways were very open, and he just kind of got this sense that like a very strong intuitive sense that he was picking up on me. But I had told the tarot card reader from Pasadena that my mother and my grandmother have very kind of are very in touch with I guess they've always been very in touch with kind of the spirit realm, where they've seen things and they've had experiences. But he told me, he said that everyone to a certain extent is clairvoyant. Some more than others, and then it also depends how much it also depends how it depends how much you tap into it, because some people, and it's completely fine, don't believe in that type of those type of things, and that's completely fine.
I think that everybody does. I think everybody does. They just don't know that they do. Because
they
to me,
because
to me, I think Christians call it spirit of the gift of foreknowledge, or the gift of prophecy, or visions and things like that. I think Kenny gets visions, though he doesn't know. I don't think he knows. I don't think he quite fully understands, but he does. Like Kenny has had dreams of years ago, okay? I'm going to tell you right now, years and years ago, 10 maybe, years ago, had visions and dreams about stuff that's happening today.
Oh, wow.
In the world. At a global scale.
That gave me goosebumps.
At a global scale. And we didn't understand what it was. I mean, like, we were too young. So we didn't understand, right? So then years later on, when we started getting more in touch with our spiritual side and, you know, reading a little bit more Bible and things like that, now we understand, oh, crap, now I know what that dream was about. You know? And when I say this, you say you got goosebumps, this dude is like on another, I don't think he knows he does it. I don't think he understands fully what exactly it is that he has. But I know because I have the gift of interpretation.
Oh, okay.
So I can interpret dreams and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and signs, dreams and signs. You know, like
got it.
They like I can read signs. Like everybody gets signs, by the way. That's my belief. You know,
I believe that. I believe that too.
Yeah, it's kind of like what you said. Where the dude told you that, you know, everybody's clairvoyant. Well, I believe that everybody gets signs. You understand? And it's up to us to follow the signs. It's all about free will. You know what I mean? If there's two things right now that we are looking at, it's the consequences of free will and discernment. This is what we are missing right now all over the world. And I'm telling you, when this dude has had dreams, I really hold my panties really tight because I know something's coming. I know something's coming. I'm like, oh crap. And when I say, oh my God, I'm not even gonna say like here what it is, but I guess we'll probably talk about it on Telegram. Whoever wants to talk about it, just jump in onto the Telegram, leave comments. Hey, what were you talking about on the show? And then just try to give us a vague reference at least. And then we'll answer, you know, whatever. And then we'll just jump off on conversation. If we're on at the moment, that's what we'll do.
Hey, I have a quick question for Jennifer. So, so far we've been talking about the occult stuff, but do you want to touch on anything, you know, vampire related before, you know, we close out the show?
We love vampires.
Well, okay.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I love vampires. I did actually get a pair of fangs custom made for me earlier this year. Yeah, so I've been wanting a pair of custom fangs made by he's a well-known fangsmith called Father Sebastian. And he has made fangs for people all over the world. But due to just the current state of things, he obviously wasn't seeing anyone in person. So he was doing virtual, what he called telefanging appointments. So you would have like a virtual meeting with him. He would send you it was like a kit, like a tooth molding kit, that he mailed out to you, and he would you would make an appointment, and we had this Google Meet, and he like walked me through how to take my own teeth imprints for the fangs, and there's like different ones you can choose from. But yeah, I got a pair of custom made fangs, and you can drink with them. You can smoke with them. I'm not a smoker, but you can leave them in, and they stay in. You don't need any like adhesive.
Do you have a picture that you could send to Twitter so we could show right now?
Oh, I do. Let me see.
Oh, this is gonna be nice.
I do.
That's exciting. We like vampires. I think we've seen almost every vampire movie out there. Yeah. You know.
Oh my gosh, I can't get enough. Ever since I read Anne Rice's Vampire Chronicles in high school. Oh my God, I love Nosferatu. I was a couple years ago, the LA Opera, for Halloween, they would play horror films, and the music would be played by live orchestra. And the first year I went, my husband and I went to see Nosferatu, and because it's a silent film and the original soundtrack has been lost, so the LA Opera kind of reimagined the soundtrack. So they played the film on the big screen, and it was at this historic hotel, and a live orchestra was playing while it played on the screen.
Nice. That's so cool.
Oh my god, I was so sad because obviously they couldn't hold the event this past October. I don't know if they're gonna do something this year. Sorry, I'm like trying to find the photo.
Oh, the photo. That's cool.
Oh, okay. Okay, I just sent it to you in our DM on Twitter.
That is so, I think that everything is going to be opening up, sooner. A lot of things, the venues are accepting more and more people. Even like the sports arenas now, they're accepting more and more people into the stands. So I think pretty soon, Jennifer, you're going to be able to go back to all these wonderful events.
I think eventually, and so hopefully some more vampire events. But yeah, I got those the fangs and I mean the quality.
Don't get too excited.
Because
excuse me. What did you say? Hey.
But well, see, and so if you want your own pair of fangs, you can get a pair of yours.
I don't think you're talking about the fangs.
Come on, the fangs are amazing.
No, but it's true. She's hot.
If anyone is if anyone's interested, I wrote about my whole experience and how people, if people are interested in getting their own done. He has a background in his background is in dentistry. So I mean, what you're getting is like high grade quality, fangs. But
you look gorgeous, by the way. You truly are beautiful.
I'm happy you're saying it and not me.
Oh, shut up. You have beautiful eyes. You need to know that, girl. You look fierce. Fierce, queen. Fierce.
I'm blushing so much right now if you could see me.
No, girl, look. I'm just very, I'm the type of person, the way I see it is like this. I'm very comfortable with my sexuality. And I'm very comfortable with who I am.
Yes, she is.
And I'm strong. I'm a strong woman. So I'm not blind.
No, she's not.
I have eyeballs and I can tell when a girl is pretty. I mean, seriously.
Oh, well, thank you.
I'm jalapy for you. Jealous happy.
Okay, so let's get back to.
No, I'm kidding. No, but these fangs look dope.
These fangs, like for real. Okay, so you have to mold them to your teeth. You have to like send the mold into him.
Yeah. So I go into detail about it too, for anyone who's like wants to like read about it. But it's like what he sends the mold. It's a molding kit. It's kind of like Play-Doh. That's the easiest way I can describe it. And you mold it. There's dental trays that he includes in the kit. So he mails this kit out to you, and that's you pay for that in addition to whatever fangs you're going to get. And then he walks you through the process of how you have to get the imprints. So you have 3 tries. He sends 3 different sets because it has to be like just right in order for him to get the correct imprint of your teeth so that they fit, because the point is for them to for you to wear them without any sort of like adhesive, and you could wear them for hours at a time.
Nice. Yeah. Should take a screenshot of that.
That is incredible.
But
take a screenshot.
That was like
so I can put it in the community. I'm sorry.
Oh no, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we just like to put certain things in our community tab when it comes to
just promoting something.
Yeah, either promoting something or anything.
Anybody who missed the episode, they're gonna see that. They're gonna be like, I gotta go see it.
Oh yeah, awesome. Yeah, right. So if there's other vampire enthusiasts out there like me, and they can get their own pair of fangs.
Yeah, totally. Send us the link in our private chat, actually right here.
How do you feel about hybrids?
The Google meetings.
Vampire, werewolf hybrids, because, I think that they should try to get along. Because,
Oh, or the lichens. Yeah, yes. I'm all for it. It should be one big community. I love, I don't know if you guys have seen the Underworld films, how the whole feud is between the vampires and lichens. And the whole story is that there's this feud because a vampire and a lichen had this baby together. But I'm all for community. So
Underworld.
I've got nothing but Underworld. Yeah, but I've nothing against werewolves.
The werewolves often try to whenever you're like gathering with like other vampire enthusiasts, do they ever try to crash the party?
Oh, dude, those troublemakers.
Not that I've experienced, at least not yet.
Okay, not yet. Okay. Well, let us know if they ever do.
That would be fun to stream. Like, I would love to stream that.
Yeah, I would love to stream that. We're here at a vampire con, and look at these rude lichens just party crashing.
That sounds like a skit.
Yeah.
For real.
I think
howling up in here, shedding. Come on.
They're pooping on the floor. You would think they would be better trained.
They brought the fleas in.
Oh my gosh, I know. Huh?
Somebody put collars on these guys.
Kenny, so much.
That would be a sight to see.
That would be a sight to see. Everybody, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already with us.
And check out
Jennifer
Jen's
Vasquez.
website.
Check out her website, please.
Yes, let me actually put it back up on the screen.
One more time,
because
we're about to go. I know she needs to go. So what you got planned for this
so
weekend, Miss Vasquez?
For this weekend, I actually my priority thing to do is I have to get my next podcast episode recorded.
Yes, tell us about the podcast right quick before we do head out.
Yeah, I'm happy to. I just started that the end of March, and starting a podcast. Nice. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
That is so dope, you know?
I was really glad that I was able to actually launch it. It's been something I've been wanting to do for a while, and I was able to make it happen a couple months ago. Mm-hmm. So right now, what I'm doing is kind of like repurposing my blog content and creating episodes. Because I get that not everyone has time to read, and sometimes it's just more convenient to like listen to something while you're kind of doing your thing, whether it's like work or cleaning. So the really neat thing is I feel like it's kind of opened up and introduced me to a wider audience. Whereas if people weren't people weren't familiar with my blog content, they kind of have found me through my podcast.
And how's that going?
I mean, it's going really well. Like I'm so grateful, and just the response that I've gotten from a few people has been very positive. And, I'm just still trying to kind of navigate. I'm very new at it. So, there's like the technical things that I'm still kind of trying to, just kind of amp up the quality. Mm-hmm. But I've been having a lot of fun with it. And the most recent episode I recorded was the Occult Figures podcast.
Oh, really? Wow. What a coincidence.
Yeah, that's like when you had messaged me, and I was like, that episode was coming out the next day.
That's crazy.
And so there were people that were like, yeah, exactly. It was so funny that you had messaged me about that. The one I did before that was on vampires, and then tomorrow, because I'm going to try to come out with the episode this Wednesday. So I don't know if we talked about this when you guys had me on last, but I've identified as goth since I was a teen, and on May 22nd is Goth Day, so it's a day dedicated to the subculture. So
May 22nd, you said?
May 22nd, yeah, it's Goth Day.
I know that. I know a few loved ones that are into that, and I'm totally gonna tell them Happy Goth Day on May 22nd.
Oh my god, yeah, it's funny because my husband's birthday falls on Goth Day, so I have to kind of like balance and not let the Goth Day overshadow his birthday. But May 22nd is Goth Day, so the episode I'm going to come out with next is kind of like a special episode that's going to be kind of all goth subculture related. So I'm really excited to get that recorded. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to be doing tomorrow, and then Sunday's Mother's Day, so I'll be with my mom, and I'm sure you guys probably.
Oh, that's true. By the way, happy Mother's Day to your mother and to all the mothers out there, baby, because we love you.
I know. Happy Mother's Day.
Love you, girl.
To all the mommies. Ladies. Yes.
That is so awesome. Those of us who are lucky to still have our mom, don't forget to give her flowers and stuff. At least a fruit bouquet from 1-800-Flowers, right?
By the way, we are not at all sponsored by them.
We are not.
Okay.
We're not sponsored. Okay. But I just thought it would be funny to say that.
By the way, thank you so much, Realities in Perspective, for that super chat. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Reality.
That's awesome.
Every time Reality comes into the chat,
They go,
They
hey.
say, hey. So
Aw.
But yeah, thank you so much for
Like I'm
that.
saying that.
I know, right? Me too.
Thank you.
Oh man, Jen.
It's been a pleasure.
Oh, well, thank you. I had a lot of fun. Yeah, thank you for having me on again. It was good talking with you guys.
Same here.
We could talk for days.
Facts.
I love this subject, and I love anything having to do with the paranormal, the supernatural, because we've had such paranormal lives, right? Me and Kenny. Rather, Kenny and I.
Yes.
We've had very, very paranormal lives. Like, there's things that have happened to us that I don't think you could ever. I don't think anybody believe me. You know, sometimes when I have said certain things, because they've been freaky. You know, hey, Bathsheba.
Hi, Bathsheba.
Hi,
Thank you for joining us.
Oh my God, that's
With
my
us
girl.
Is Jennifer Vasquez. Awesome.
Jennifer
Thank you for being here.
Vasquez. Yeah, we've been chatting up a storm about the occult and vampires. Yeah.
Yes. I know, it was a lot of.
I think vampires are hot.
The history and just the whole mythology. I just like absolutely.
It's very romantic.
Like,
Yeah,
yes,
it is.
yeah. It's one of those, like, I feel like with vampires, it's definitely like there's a romantic side, and then there's also you know the opposite side of that too, which it's just, I find that just so intriguing. Yeah.
I think
but
that
there's
it's a female thing. I'm not gonna lie. I think that we oh, by the way, thank you, Jokers and Mice.
Yes, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate it.
But yeah, I think it's a female thing to an extent, you know, because most of the people that I've come across, whether it comes to any monsters, right? Vampires is usually all the women usually like the vampires.
You think so?
I think so. The ones I've come across anyway.
Okay.
Because of the romantic side of it. That's when, you know, we like that stuff.
I see. I don't know. For me, at least, my experience with it has been pretty balanced.
Right?
I see equal amounts of like both men and women. I think too, because like when I've gone to this event called the Vampire Ball, which that Thanks Smith, Father Sebastian hosts. There's, I mean, you see an equal balance of both. I think there's just, I think maybe what draws are different, but because I think there's something like very, very masculine, but then also very feminine about the vampire figure that can appeal to both. So I've seen
it's an androgynous thing,
balanced.
I think. I think a little bit. There's a little bit of androgynous.
I could definitely live that lifestyle.
There's actually a podcast that I can recommend to people listening, but it's her name is Rose Sinister, and her podcast is Vampires, but she does an excellent job of discussing vampires, but from like an academic stance. And she breaks down how vampires are essentially mirrors of us, and that's why we're fascinated by them. But she's talked about like Underworld. She's broken down Interview with the Vampire. Like, oh my God, she goes into the topic way better than I could. Like, she really knows her stuff. But look up Rose Sinister for anyone who's like interested in getting, you know, wants to listen to that podcast. But
so Rose as a flower, right? Rose.
Yeah, Rose is a flower, and then Sinister.
Awesome. I'll put that in the chat just now. Rose Sinister for anybody that's interested in checking out this channel.
Wow.
Yeah.
Recommended by Jennifer Vasquez.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah, that sounds very interesting. I like her name, Rose Sinister. That sounds cool.
See, because it fits with my metrosexual lifestyle. See, because, you know, I like to, you know, do my hair sometimes and do a little, my nails, you know, and do a little.
See, there you go.
Manicure or whatever. And, you know, there's no wrong with that. No wrong with a man looking sexy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it.
Yeah, he does.
Showing a little bit of his, you know, feminine side.
I would say it's more like a sensitive side.
Sensitive,
you know, like
side?
the sensitivity, and usually that's associated with females, but he does have a sensitive side.
We all, I mean, I feel like, you know, as humans, we all embody feminine and masculine energies. So, you know, it's a balance. We all have that.
I think even God does, to an extent. And oh gosh, I hope the Christians don't come for me for this. But I think that you have the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
right.
You got the Father and you have the Son. But could the Holy Spirit, being that it's the counselor, right? It's the sensitive one. It's the one that loves, the one that comforts. It's called the comforter. Those are traits that are usually associated with femininity.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So, I mean, and if you are to believe in the Trinity, it's 3 in 1, right? Mm-hmm. It's usually mother, father, baby. Sorry, other communities. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be offensive, but it's just a fact, right? You can't have one without the other. It's kind of like, comes in a package deal,
Well, I mean, there are,
No, yes, there's alternative lifestyles now.
Alternative methods to having a child now. Come on.
No, I get that. But without a lab, interfering.
Okay.
It
natural
kind of...
order of things, you mean?
Yes, a natural order of things, yes. And so I think that it... represents the feminine side as well. And people, the first thing that I tell a lot of people who are non-believers or don't read scriptures or whatever, is like this. You ask this side to be open-minded. Well, you have to be open-minded too. Don't read or go by what someone else tells you, which is where I divide from the church. This is the part where we separate.
Research.
Exactly. Do it for yourself. Because you can't, people are faulty, But this is just
like
my personal theory.
Yeah, sometimes it's like that. You ever like played a game when you were a kid and there's like 5 or 6 of you and you start that game that you say something into someone's ear and then they say it into the other person's ear and they pass it down and about the time it gets to the end it's something completely different.
Telephone, that's that telephone.
Right. Yeah.
The telephone game, so yeah.
Oh, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started with the Bible and weed. Do not.
Oh.
Girl, because I could sit there and tell you, we have to have that discussion. We have to have you back and have that discussion, which is going to be completely...
Bible and weed?
Yes.
I'm not familiar, so I feel like that'll be something where you school me on that because
yeah, definitely. Because you should, girl. I have some theories, and I have a lot of I think that it's sanctioned by God, honestly. But that's a whole nother conversation.
Thank you for the super chat, by the way, Infinite Psycho.
Thank you,
sis. Thank you so much.
That's awesome.
Appreciate that.
But yeah, you are totally knowledgeable on the occult and stuff. I mean, I can tell your research has definitely done you well.
I do. Yeah, I do. I'm still learning, and I think too, with talking about it, I'm like, okay, I want to make sure I don't offend anyone, also just with or get facts misconstrued because it's like I'm still learning about it, and there's just a lot of self growth that I'm doing as so I just share what I've learned, but yeah, very much still learning.
No, we are all still learning, honestly. It doesn't matter what age you are or you never stop learning, I mean, hopefully only dummies don't want to keep learning, but we normal progressive human beings like to learn and continue learning because we understand that till the day we die, we are an asset to this world, okay? And we are contributing to the future. We are contributing to the future generations. And whatever footprints we leave behind, well, guess what? That's what is going to affect our children and their children and so forth and so on. And yes, the fur babies count too. Hi.
Yeah. Oh, did you hear a bark in the background?
It's so cute. Yes.
Yeah, I have my one. He barks at any noise he hears outside of our condo.
Oh, that is super adorable. But but definitely, Jen, listen, it's been great. I feel like time went by too fast.
I know. I can't believe it's already been an hour. I know that flew by. I know. I wish I could have had time to share more because there's just so much. I mean, I think
That was just
in all
the
reality,
tip
you can.
of the tip of the iceberg.
Yep.
I'm
Yeah,
sure.
so I mean, hopefully what I was able to share was like somewhat interesting to people and made sense, because sometimes I'm not the best at explaining things, but I hope that
girl,
some
you
people
did
found
great.
it beneficial.
And I was super like impressed with that picture with the fangs. I think it was so super cute.
Listen, the
Oh,
photos
thank you.
that Jen takes are like,
Artistic, very artistic.
they're like studio quality.
Oh,
It's true.
Thank
There
you.
they are, girl.
You're welcome.
oh, thank
You're
you.
welcome.
I can't take like full credit. My husband's a makeup artist, and so he'll get me ready, and then we'll have like.
Aren't you the lucky one?
So I'm very fortunate. because,
Very
like,
fortunate.
so that he helps me a lot with things like
That's
that.
dope. That's
So.
awesome. Tell him we said what's
Yeah.
up.
Oh, I will.
All right, cool. Pues sí, mija, mira. Qué tiempo, ¿verdad? Qué bueno. Aquí estamos, tú sabes, los tres jangueando. Un poquito de chiste, un poquito de
Risas.
risas y
By the way, we're just saying banter in Spanish, guys, in the chat. We're just saying how much fun we had and how much, how we were joking around.
had some
and,
jokes, some
and
smiles.
some laughs and good times. For those who don't understand anything we just said. But since the three of us are Latinos, that's why we
Yeah.
That's right. Pues sí, muchas gracias para estar con nosotros esta noche.
Yes, thank you for being with us.
Jennifer.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. I was really flattered that you guys asked me on. So always happy to be a guest. Thank you.
Qué bueno. Thank you so much.
I love that we
All
talked
right.
about everything, things that you like and things that you've learned. Because, like I said, we never stop learning.
Nunca.
Yeah, exactly. It's important. Keep learning.
Yes. All right.
All right. You guys have a good night.
Buenas noches, mi
right.
amores.
Good night,
Cuídase.
lovey. Thank you for coming
Bye.
again.
Thank you. Bye.
Oh, that was great. I loved that interview. I love
Good night, Puddin'.
Jennifer, and I love Jennifer's fangs. That was
Those
incredible.
fangs were amazing.
Yeah, they were.
Top
I mean,
notch
he
work.
really did, for not meeting in person and having her do the stuff herself.
Yeah.
That was incredible. That was
was-
really cool.
Wow.
Very good artistry right there and craftsmanship.
Gonna have to look into that.
Yeah, hi Fear.
She needs to send us the link if she's still listening to that website for the fangs,
Yes.
That'd be
So we
nice
can,
if you did that.
put it in
Thank
our
you,
community
Jennifer.
tab.
Oh, we got Fear the Great White. Thank you for being here, my
Hey
friend.
Fear.
I hope you're having a great evening. You're dope as fuck. I see you. You're in the his house. His house. His house. Thank you for being here. We also got the Joker's Demise.
Hi Joker.
Thank you for being here, my friend. I see you. You're in the his house. His house. His house. You want to fix that?
Oh, sure.
So, Jennifer Vasquez, she's into, the vampire, set. And she was dropping a lot of interesting information. So in case you're joining us late, I suggest that you watch the replay of this live stream because you're gonna be glad that you did. She was an amazing guest. I love having her on. Don't you, Mysterio?
Yeah, it was awesome to the first time that we had her on, but this time also was really pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, this was the second time, so
Yes.
we have the first interview up still in our library of past live streams. So if you're interested in seeing that, you can go check it out.
That's great. Now I'm trying to find that source because I completely lost it. So sorry about that, you guys. But go ahead, keep on talking to our friends and let's say good night, actually.
Yeah, well, the whole point was to say hello to Banshee.
Oh, Hi, Ben. Kiva.
Oh my god. Becky, look at her butt. Hi.
Thanks for being here. Good luck on house hunting. I hope you get the house of your dreams.
Yes, our friend.
Not
is
of your
house
nightmares, but of your dreams.
Oh yeah, totally.
Infinite Psychosis also is up in his house. We have Somber Reeds. Warrior Princess Dragon Kelchner.
Hey, princess.
So many folks dropped in tonight. El Loco Nightmare. Wow. That's dope when he stops by. He's chilling in Mexico, my friends.
Ooh.
Having a wonderful time out there, but soaking in those sun rays, having pina coladas. I know the deal. Living large, baby.
Indeed.
Styling and profiling. For sure, for sure. Did I mention Joker's demise? Joker stayed the hell out of Gotham. He's into his house. Thank you, my friend, for being here. We love you, dude. And that's on the real.
Yep.
Got Sock Goblin. He was up in here. I think he bounced though. But he was up in here. Thank you for being here, my friend. Appreciate that. So if I missed anybody, forgive me.
Yes, please forgive us.
But if you're still there, let me know. I would love to say hello to you and see how you're doing. So this was a very cool show. We had a great week as well with Real Evil Wednesday. Please catch that episode if you didn't. And watch all the episodes of Real Evil. You know you want to. And tomorrow we're going to have the Horror Honeys featuring Bathsheba, Dame Saturday, Mia Mina, and Mary P. And don't forget Patches. You can't forget Patches. Patches. That's their mascot.
Yes, the mascot. Patches is amazing.
Mm.
I love it when Patches talks. I wish I could make it
more people in here.
So we got the local says he's been going on some freaky adventures. Damn. Ah, man, that's dope, man. I'm so happy for you, bro. That's what's up, man.
Adventures
that's
is
what's up.
like 50% of life right there.
Facts.
All right. Okay, guys. Well, you know what? Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. I'm gonna scoot out of here because my back is beginning to hurt. I'm tired.
Yeah.
My back's been hurting for a couple of days now.
Yes, terrible thing. Poor baby.
Aw. But you've been a saint, darling. He's been rubbing my back. Aww.
Oh man, I also had fun playing some Resident Evil 7. Ooh. I'm thinking about buying the Resident Evil Village to play sometime within the next 72 hours. So let's see how that go. Be on the lookout for that.
That'll be fun.
That would be fun.
That would definitely be
fun. For sure.
But,
amigos y amigos, amigas, chico y chicas, thank you for stopping by tonight for this episode of Stereo Dread, powered by
Dezombified.
And as always, my partner in crime is the Dominican dandy, Mysterio.
That's right. This is Mysterio over here. And as always with me is the Puerto Rican Prince of Poetry, Kenny Dreadful.
Yes, that is I. Thank you for the intro. But everybody, I'm out of here. I'm gonna let Mysterio take us on out. Good night, love you, and I'll be seeing you soon. Mwah.
That's right, you guys. Don't forget to check out all of our social media. We do keep Twitter for messages mostly. We do have Facebook and Linktree, Discord, Telegram. We have some Instagram, yes we do, which we have to get more active on. I'm sorry about that, but yes we do. And our website, obviously, you know, if any major news happen or any major catastrophe happens, we'll know there, right? But thank you guys for everything, and thank you for coming. And remember, Dezombified friends, as always,
That's always what?
What do you think? Watch your six.
Hey guys, this is Patches, and you're listening to Stereo Dread. Don't forget to bring the bacon.
You have now entered Stereo Dreads with Miss Stereo and Kenny Dreadful. Be advised, you have been warned.
This is Madam Raven, and you are listening to Dezombified, the place where all the best narrators hang out on YouTube.
Hey!
Bacon.
Hello there, my friends. I am Mr. X Dreams, and you're listening to Stereo Dread. Enjoy the show.